us.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I spent 6 months formerly as a reporter with the New York Post, and I'm currently an independent journalist. So I love covering this. This is awesome. Kind of feeding off of some of my experience that I had on the campaign trail. I think that the future of the legacy media is very bleak. I sat in those press pens at those rallies between Trump and Vance events. I went to over 24 events, and I know you guys were up there on the risers, but I was back behind the risers with a lot of the other print reporters. And what I can tell you is that kind of this unithought that permeates among particularly print reporters, it was really shocking to me. We had, anytime I looked around, any of the three-letter media outlets that you can think of, or to my left and to my right. And, I saw them over the course of, say, an hour and a half, 2 hour, two and a half hour event. They would somehow all manage to come up with the same headline, which always made me ask, how could I make my story better? How could I make my story different? And so, I'm really proud of the work that I did at the New York Post. I worked with some amazing people over there, and I'm proud to say that, with some of the coverage that we had, I think that we did a good job telling the stories from the campaign trail that few others did. For the project that I was a part of there, the Swing State Project, I was one of 9 reporters that we had all over the country from June to the end of November. And we had folks there that, were really embedded in these communities, not like a lot of other outlets that would just fly in and out for these rallies. So we were able to really tell the deeper story of how this election was won. And, this piece that I have in our Young Voices Substack, the group that booked me on here today, Young Voices, they help propel libertarian and conservative writers and thought leaders in media and beyond. And, kind of the idea behind this piece was that I'm really proud of the impact that I personally was able to have. My work reached over 2 million people, which is something that I could have never imagined could have happened. But it also got me asking, if that is the reach that I could have at an outlet like that, is there a place for me kind of outside of an outlet directly? And, seeing at some other big names and the impact that they had, whether that was podcasters, personalities, kind of social media newsfluencers, I guess how we can call them. There is a lot that the media didn't even get to see or didn't even get to do. And what I also noticed was that a lot of the times these outlets were actually covering things that were said in these more niche mediums and outlets. And so I think that really goes to show that sometimes these independent creators, they are the ones that go out and get these really niche stories, and then bigger media outlets pick up on them. But so these more niche creators are the ones, I think, doing maybe even more of the deep journalism and kind of really moving our country forward with a lot of these questions that we want to highlight and ask.